Guys, welcome to the Lonely Road. We are here to join you on your journey to heal and become better humans. And God damn it, every single day it seems like I am not only getting better, but stronger. It is one of those days where it just feels absolutely fantastic. And, we want to join you on that deep dive of grief and everything else, but not every day is heavy hearted. We want to give you the positive and the negative and try and help you by your side, but we're also not mental health professionals. Go get some help if you need to get some help, but a lot of it you can do too.
We're going to
It
celebrate
doesn't
some
just start
W's.
finding a therapist. It's celebrating every single W you get and trying to do everything you possibly can. Make sure to use code RMTS at checkout at G Fuel. Show them their love. Get 20% off. That's always fantastic. Save you some money. Make sure your energy drinks don't have sugar in them anymore because you absolutely don't need it. It's gross. It makes you feel horrible and you feel all gross and sticky. KJ, how have you been?
Cheers. Hits me. KJ motherfucking. Oh, wait. That's the wrong podcast. That's the wrong character.
That's the wrong shit.
I'm KJ. Zach's godmom. Just I do some other stuff on TikTok, mostly political. But this is a whole different situation. This is a whole different me. This is the depth. This is the depth of what I go through on a daily basis. And although I think that we dive into some really important, deep topics, it's always important to keep it lighthearted and to keep celebrating those W's and
it's
feeling
weird,
good.
Man.
Yeah,
it's weird, and like obviously, I've opened up to you guys quite a bit with saying some things that have happened recently, with my son passing and everything else. It's weird in times of depression or times of sadness or times where just everything shouldn't go right. That still the universe finds its way when you are doing the right thing for it still to fucking connect even when things aren't okay. Yeah. It's weird. And like, I don't know, I've gone through this kind of struggle now for like the past couple of years where it just feels like the world is dragging me here. It's dragging me to have this microphone in my face for me not to shut the fuck up, for me to keep going because for some reason I need to do this.
Yeah.
And it's not like a guiding light in me, which I know sounds very egocentric, very narcissistic. I can understand your point of view in those thoughts, but it feels like I have more to say and I'm going to blow every single person away as I do it. And it will help thousands. And guess what? We're helping thousands every single fucking week because for some reason you like our dumbasses. But fuck.
Yeah.
I say it on RMTS all the time. It is weird to be clearing about 100,000 people seeing my content a month. And going from absolutely nothing to nobody knowing my name to, dragging my ass out of fucking hell. And obviously I can't go fully into all the hell that I've been through yet, but fucking hell, I've made it. And that's fucking weird. It's weird to kind of be that voice for so many people when they don't have it themselves.
Yeah. And, it's a step further to be able to put your vulnerabilities on the line to help somebody and show somebody that there is the way through that darkness. Keep walking because you're going to walk right through it.
And, it's weird when you have the chance to be smacked in the face and told, no, shut up. And guess what? It doesn't fucking happen anytime. Yeah. So I'm still here. I'm still a very, very loud fucking voice. And God damn it, there were times today where I didn't think that was going to happen, but I'm still fucking here.
It's interesting when you work on yourself and you realize that not everything needs to be said, even if you want to say it so bad.
Yeah.
It reflects better on you to refine yourself. And that's what I'm finding in my, God damn it, Zachary, I'm going to be 50 years old this year. In my 50 years of life, what I've found is that, you're like, I used to be. That is? You shoot from the hip and not even, you just say what you're going to say. And that's exactly how I was. A lot of times I feel like that's where you got it, because where else did you get it from?
Oh, it absolutely wasn't my mom. It absolutely wasn't my dad. They are the most thumb stuck up their ass people that I've ever seen in my life, where they're just
Come
like,
on.
I'm silent, guys. My feelings are quiet.
They're more reserved. Yeah, absolutely. I really feel like later on, after my 30s, it was after my 30s that I got into the more refining how I act and what I do, because my if I act when that cord is vibrating, when something's vibrated my cord and pissed me off, if I act or speak when that cord is still vibrating, that's not the authentic me. That's the pissed off me. That's the me that I don't want
I
to portray
think
to the world.
I think the one thing that I changed, and the one thing that was really hard for me to change, and I don't know if I learned this from you or grandpa or what, because you guys are kind of similar in that aspect where you just go and you just say whatever and everything else. You two are the two that kind of did that. I will kind of focus down those feelings or focus down those thoughts, and I will come in with something very quippy, very, very. I'm either going to make you laugh or I'm going to put you on your ass because you're not going to expect what I'm going to say. And it will connect every single dot that you did not expect me to connect. And it will poke you in your fucking chest and say, what now? And it will go from me having a 50-minute conversation where you are completely on your ass and have no idea to one thing that will shut you up very, very, very quickly. And I think it comes down to one thing that shows your ADHD very, very strongly. That one day in the grocery store parking lot where we almost got into that fight.
Oh God, that
That
was horrible.
one thing where you're like, I own the county, bitch. What are you talking about?
That was horrible. See, that's the kind of me that I never wanted to portray. But that's what comes out. That stupid, stupid shit comes
But
out
that smart ass remark curtailed all of both mine and your anger in that situation to
because
a
we just
point where
started
it just
laughing.
stopped the entire argument. It stopped everything. They stopped. They shut up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that point has taught me so much. And it's weird for that point for it to be like, that taught me to shut up. And I'm like, no, that taught me to be very, very specific in how I say things.
Mhm.
And me and you had this conversation towards my mom and other stuff and ADHD and everything else so often. It's like I'm very, very precise with how I speak. And you tell me all the time, you're surprised with how precise I am because I will cut that hair very fucking close.
But on the other hand, Zach, you have to admit that when you are reeling off of something, you're very cryptic.
My
Be,
Yeah, I'm very
y-
bad with
we don't
because
know
I
what you're
expect
talking
people
about in
to
the
know
family chat,
exactly what I'm. Yeah,
Zach. We just don't. We gotta
I know.
say, come on, buddy, reel it back in. We need to have names with these pronouns so we
And
know
that's
what we're
panic.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that's panic. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
for sure.
that reeling of PTSD and ADHD of just getting the information out without giving everything is like, oh, I expect everybody to kind of pick up the pieces like I'm talking to them. Because if I have the conversation with you, you would hear the cadence and how I'm saying it. So it would make sense. So I just spit out the sentence and it connects the dots. No, it doesn't connect the dots because it's set in a different way than I would say it personally.
Yeah,
But it's weird. It's
yeah.
really weird.
All right.
Uh, so
So
you
to the
wanted,
topic of tonight.
well, you know, that cadence of like everything going right is kind of weird with me specifically, especially
Mm,
recently, because friends of mine like Wendigoon and stuff like that are very, very religious. And I talked to a psychic medium. I've explored more religiously in the past 3 years than I honestly ever expected to. And my mom shocked me. It was probably like 2, 3 weeks ago. She's like, Zach, out of everybody in my entire life, you are the last person that I would ever expect to become religious in any way, let alone be questioning looking at Muslim as the answer or anything like that. I never would have expected you to be that person. And I'm like, that's a weird place to be because I feel like I've grown so much since a kid. Like I've grown so much intellectually. I've grown so much. I can't even speak properly sometimes, but I've grown so much intellectually and kind of like self-introspective that it's weird. And these past 3 years have totally changed that. And I think you caught on to something when we were talking about Brett and we were talking about Joshua, about how I felt very, very guilty in both of those situations. I felt like it was my fault. And I kind of feel like the church is part of that. Like, I think religion is a big part of why that guilt relied on my shoulders so much.
Yeah, there definitely are positive effects to religion, and people that need people that need that construct. It's a beautiful thing for. I am more. I separate out religion and spirituality.
Mhm.
I'm a very spiritual person, very very spiritual person, but religion has turned me off to it.
Yeah.
So
And
the negative effects of the religion have been
that's why
more pressing.
I think
For
that's why
me.
my mom is so confused on like where I sit with my morals and stuff like that. It's like, Zach, I didn't expect you to have these morals. And it's like, Mom, these are the morals that I needed to have as a man. Like, it's like I need to provide in whatever way I can, regardless of if I can sit here and make sure the garbage is taken out. There's things in this life and this world that I can do to make sure that this world is better, that my family is better, that my house is better, that every single person around me is better. And
Where did you pick that up? Because your mom didn't teach you that. She's your mom. She taught you other things, positive and negative.
mhm,
Your stepdad was good in a lot of ways, but he wasn't good in all those ways. So
honestly,
where did you grab
honestly,
it?
let's say fuck this topic and go into this one. I like this one a little bit more, and I probably could be a hell of a lot more introspective, and it would be a little bit more entertaining for the fans. We'll do this topic at a different time. I don't care. Um, so it's weird.
We can
So
tie it in.
if we tie it in, we tie it in. I'm just saying, don't stress about tying it in. So let me lay out exactly how my stepdad was, so that way it's understood why it's weird and why it's crazy. My stepdad, I love him to death. Let me just start off saying that firsthand. Even with all of their marital problems and their relationship problems, I supported my stepdad. I stood behind my stepdad. I was like, "Hey, you have my respect because you've never done anything wrong to me. Like, regardless of what your relationship issues are, regardless of what's going on, I stand behind you."
Hmm.
Um, but in saying that, he was never the man. Like, I took the role of the man of the house at fucking 8 years old. And that's because that's how it was kinda laid out. I think I saw that level of inequality and intelligence very quickly. And I don't know if it was put in front of my face or if I saw it. And that's me being genuine. Like, I don't know. I can't grasp it. But the way that he was a part of the household was like he was the lighthearted, jokey kind of guy that kind of just got shit done. And that was the only part of him I could take. Like when I built myself up as a man, the one part I could take from Fa is that he just got shit done. Like no
Yeah.
matter what it was on the table, it
Yep.
like did he struggle with keeping a job? Absolutely. Did he struggle with like the impulse decisions of like, ah, I'm gonna fuck up everything? Yeah, that's who he was as a person. Absolutely. But if something needed to get done in the house, somebody needed to be heard, something needed to get done, and he was the person that was available to do it. That motherfucker, on the day that we lost Joshua, he walked up to me, said, "Bud, I love you. I'm not a part of this conversation." He walked into my kitchen, started doing my dishes because he knew that's where he could help.
Yeah. He's
Like
like
he
that.
doesn't try and step away from what he knows he can do. And that was like a weird thing that ADHD me had to pick up. And I couldn't put the pieces together at 16, 17, 18 years old when I had my first two kids of what that was. Because, that entire relationship was surrounded by her mom, who is so radical feminist bullshit of like, oh, I'm a boss ass babe who needs to do everything. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you need to be that level of controlling in your life, in your relationship, there's a problem. There's roles for a reason, not because I'm just stereotypical, but as a whole, the house works better if it comes together. And my mom, who was very, very similar. I remember so many times hearing, oh, Zach, the nurses that are hired at my job, when they're men, they make $4 or $5 more than I do. And I look back at that, I'm like, Mom, they legally could not do that. They legally could not. I'm like, what the hell? I was poisoned by that so much that I let my ex-wife lead everything for so long. Like I sat back and I sat back and I sat back, and like I look back at our first apartment, which was a trailer, right? Fucking wish I had that opportunity.
Mhm.
Because it's like we had a trailer right with my grandparents, like my grandparents' old house and my aunt's house who was right there. And it's like I have my best friend right there as my neighbor. Everything was there. And it's like I lost that because she couldn't get past making sure that she had a pack of cigarettes in her hand and a bottle of vodka in the freezer and making sure that everything, I have new clothes to wear. I couldn't put my foot down still at that point. Like I struggled. We lost that apartment because she didn't pay the bills. Even when I was working, she didn't pay the bills. There was no effort behind the things that she was doing to hold her accountable to do what she needed to do. So at that point, I kind of started seeing, oh well, there needs to be an accountability buddy in this situation out of the one of the two of us, and it's not her. So probably like 4 or 5 years down the road, when we lived at the bottom of the mountain, we almost lost it. She was pregnant, and we were about 2 months behind in rent. And one of my abuser's moms bailed us out, and I lost it. I said, "No, we're not accepting this. If you accept this, I'm telling you, I'm taking this shit over, and we're going to do this right. And I'm not fucking paying anybody back anymore. We're not going into the red every single chance that you get. Every time you want a pack of cigarettes, every single time, every little harebrained scheme comes into your head. We're not doing this anymore. I can't do this anymore." I watched my entire life go from cycles of the same exact shit I dealt with as a kid to I still haven't moved out of that apartment from 7 years ago. Every single bill has not been turned off since I took over. Nothing has gone off. Just making sure everything is taken care of. And, it got stronger. It got stronger when we got married. I was like, okay, I need to be the man that a marriage is. Like I need to be that relationship anchor towards what we need to be. And that was a weird place because I didn't know what the fuck that was.
Right.
And it's weird because like this is gonna sound stupid. The one guy that I was able to look to is now my boss. Is a millionaire on YouTube that I was like, he tells a lot of stories and talks a lot of shit, and he's able to guide his family. So I started taking little bits and pieces from here and there and like how I needed to be. And then we got pregnant with Ava, who's my baby. And I love that kid to fucking death, man. That kid changed me so much. But just before Ava, I ended up having to leave my job because I injured my neck. And I did that level of comfort I was able to build for myself for that 2 years in between getting married and me going out with my neck. That comfort was taken from me because I couldn't make sure the bills were paid. I had workers' comp checks coming in that was 70% of my wages. There's nothing I can do at that point. There's nothing. So I'm trying to put the pieces together, just trying to figure it out and kind of be able to understand exactly what the hell is going on. Is that your earphone? I'll cut this out. There was like a weird feedback, and then it sounded like music or a ring. It was weird. I don't know. I just figured I'd ask. I'll cut it out. Zero problem. Um, but there. Um, So it got really weird. It got really weird as that time of like me not being able to have the physical control over it being okay. I had to rely on a disability check from her and my workers' comp to make things meet. And that was weird. That got weird because it's like I have to figure this out. So as I got ready for my surgery, right the doctor's appointment before we scheduled my surgery, he looked at me and said, "If you have the surgery, it is a 20% chance you die." Because it was surgery on my neck and surgery on my chest. He's like, "Bad surgeons, they fail. It just happens. My percentage is lower than 20%, but I can accurately give you a 20% chance to die." I looked at him and said, "I need to schedule this now." He's like, "Are you sure you have a baby coming?" I said, if I can't make sure that garbage is taken out tomorrow because my arm doesn't work today, and I can't make sure that the baby can be held and taken care of because I can't use my arm today, what man am I ever going to be? What can I ever be as a human if I'm just sitting here waiting to pass out again? I decided that day I needed to have surgery. It was a risk. They told me it was a 50-50 shot if it worked and a 20% chance of death. That is a 30% chance of positive outcomes. And I came home. I talked to my lawyer first because I didn't even speak to my ex-wife at the time. I was like, this is the percentages they're giving me. If I die on that table, can you promise me that my kids are going to be taken care of? That's all I care about. Are my kids going to be okay? And he said, if you die on that table, it's $2 million. And I remember, and I'm sure you probably heard this too. I remember my mom always coming home and being like, there are some days I realize that I'm worth more dead than I am alive. I'm worth $1 million dead and I'm worth this alive. And I'm like, Mom, I don't think you had $1 million life insurance policy. Maybe 100K I could understand, but not $1 million. Just life insurance doesn't work like that. Everybody knows that now, but whatever. Like, okay. Even at 30, 70, I'm taking these odds. I have to. Surgery failed inevitably, but like, I have to take these odds. I have to be okay enough to do this. It's my turn to step up now. It's not just working. It is making sure my kids don't have to worry about tomorrow. Because workers' comp was telling me, oh, well, if you don't have surgery, what are you going to do? You're going to sit on workers' comp for the rest of your life? We're going to stop giving you offers. Okay, surgery's my answer then. I can't go back to work. I physically can't pass out at work because you're going to tell me it's no longer covered. So I wrote a letter to my mom, begging her and wishing her to be there because I just needed somebody. Wrote a letter to my kids, telling them I love them, hoping that Ava would be able to read it and think of me. Because I didn't know what was going to happen. And all I had was my aunt, who's literally been my rock for years now, and my ex-wife. It's fucked up to say that 3 days later showed me even more the man I had to be. In ICU, because I had surgery on veins and arteries and trying to get shit uncompressed and everything else. They were offering me shots every single night to make sure that I didn't get blood clots. And I kept telling them to go fuck themselves because I'm not sticking myself with needles just because you don't want an insurance claim. And I would get up and walk and eat. My son was playing in the living room of my in-laws' house. It was the day after Christmas. And we got a message I sent my ex-wife back here to get clothes and change and, do the normal daily stuff. Stop sitting in a hospital chair. Go take care of yourself. So she came back, walked the dogs, made sure everything was taken care of. And she got a message while she was here. She's like, hey, Nick is swelling. Nick's having an allergic reaction to something. It was like 8 o'clock at night. I'm giving him Benadryl. I said, show me him. She said, no, I already gave him Benadryl. The next morning, I withdrew myself from the hospital. I made them take the drain out of my chest and I came home. Because I know, and I know this sounds egotistical, there's not a single place where those kids are safer than they are with me.
I get it.
Because no matter what I have to do for those kids, if I have to take a gunshot right now, if I died on that table, I would have done anything. I learned that from Fa. Because that's exactly what he would have done. No matter if he's dying, he has a fucking drain holding all of his blood together that's touching his fucking intestines and it feels fucking gross on the inside. And I had to watch them rip it out of my chest. Guess what? I'm coming home. Because fuck you. That's strike 3. I don't play these games. And that day showed me exactly how many people I can trust. There's going to be people in this world that you can trust 95%. There's going to be people in this world that you can trust 50%. They may be your best friends. And then there's people that are literally in your circle only because they have to be, and you would rather drag your nuts on fucking glass than ever deal with them again. And I promise you, there will never be a day I don't give every single ounce of fucking energy I can to those kids.
As you should. As you should. We were talking.
I was tying it back into your morality question. I don't know where I got the morality of like, I'm supposed to provide and take care. That might even be the ghetto streak in me that you brought out. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy's going to be the feisty one. The guy's going to be the one that protects and fight and do everything that he possibly can. And you see that with me talking out about my abuse with my dad. You got fiery and lit up about it. You stood behind me. There wasn't the same fieriness from everybody. That fieriness only came from those kind of the people that led. And it's weird. It's weird the things that I kind of clung to, but at the same time, it's like I had to.
Yeah.
As I saw the steps in front of me, I saw exactly how I needed to move. And I don't know if that's like a me thing or an everybody thing. I don't know if it's an autism thing or an ADHD thing, or if it's just like there is something about this life that I am supposed to do. There's something that is pushing me through this path, no matter how hard I fucking fought against it. How many times have I pushed myself through this exact path and I'm winning now?
Yeah. Yeah. So it appears that like you took something, whether it be positive or negative, from pretty much everybody you came across in your life.
Yeah.
And put it into play.
It's weird when you look at the two biggest actual men in my life. One of them is gay. And I'm sure my humor will be like, oh, he's homophobic. Very, very far from it. Very far from it.
Don't get me started.
Well, we know this.
On the homophobic bullshit.
But like the most manly man. The most manly man you have in my life is fucking JT and Uncle Donnie. And like we're in a weird fucking place now. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird standard to grow from here. But guess what? I have one hell of a best friend in JT. And guess what? Even though he's not the greatest dude, there are things that, just light up the world because of how Donnie was.
I love
But
you,
you know
Uncle
what? I
Donnie.
took things there too.
I love
You know what I'm
Donnie.
saying? I do too.
Donnie Yo is awesome. I love him. I
You
know
know,
he hasn't been the most amazing guy to people that you love, but I
exactly.
I only know what I know, and I
No,
just take the good from the
the
people
the
that
negative is the negative, and I will never stand behind him for those things.
right, right.
But on July 11th, 2022, you want to know the first person to ask? It was the first week of August. Sorry, not July. First person to ask if I could go out and I could spend guy time because obviously I needed it because I wasn't okay. It was my brother Josh and Uncle Donnie, and they made sure I was okay. They made sure another dude was making sure I was okay. They made sure I got down to PA to get the hell out of here for a fucking week. They covered me and made sure that everything was going to be fine. Those things stuck too.
Mhm. So you do have a lot of really good role models in your life. Your
Yeah,
grandpa, your grandpa was a solid. I mean, again, had his downfalls, and when I was around him, was different. But he was different with you. But my
yeah,
point being that your grandpa was a very responsible man.
yeah.
He is. He is a very responsible man. But I say was because I don't interact with him anymore very much. But he when I knew him, he knew how to make money. He knew how to
You knew
hold
the
things down,
lines.
and he knew how to keep his household running.
It's weird. It's really genuinely weird. You know, 2 years ago, in the middle of dealing with all this shit, I call him for Father's Day. We're talking bullshit back and forth, back and forth. And he starts going on a rant about Trump being an asshole and everything else, which is hilarious if you know who he is. The fact that he doesn't like a Republican candidate is fucking absolutely hilarious. But he ends our phone call with Zach, no matter what anybody says about you, no matter what anybody looks at you for, no matter how mad they are at you, no matter who you've lost in the world or who's abused you or anything, I'm proud of the man you became.
Yeah.
And that ties back into something that we said a couple weeks ago. Giving the whether it's a man or a woman around you, giving them those flowers of I'm proud of you. I want you to be happy. This is how you do this, and I'm proud of how you're doing this. Those things are life changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you want to know what every single dude looks for when they don't have a dad? That dad to give them the flowers that they needed to say, hey, you did a good job.
I'm glad he could do that for you. That's awesome. I'm glad. That's a relationship that is definitely worth fostering.
And like you saw me growing up,
Hmm.
how often did I look for my dad? My dad abused me for 3 fucking years. And I was still waiting for him to walk and stand up at my fucking graduation as Maddie's running across the fucking stage to me to tell me she loves me. Like, I sat there and waited. I waited to fucking fist fight because, you expect somebody to give a fuck, even if they've hurt you. It's weird. But
Yes.
you know what for damn sure? My kids will never fucking feel it.
That's right. They'll never have to wonder.
They know for damn sure their daddy loves them.
Mm-hmm.
And they know what a real man will show them love.
Yeah, because you are the blueprint for how they're going to expect men to treat them,
Mhm.
whether you treat them bad or good. And
Yeah.
that's very scary in a lot of instances in a lot of homes.
And it's so weird watching Nick because like he's using me as the blueprint and he's learning so fucking fast.
Yeah.
And there are
Yeah.
things that come out of his mouth that floor me. And I'm like, I would have said that at 14. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, I understand your morality, kid. I fully grasp it. And I'm so fucking proud of you for that morality. But fucking hell, you have one hell of a thought process on you already. That kid is going to be so hard stanced, just like me and Josh were, that it's crazy. So yeah, it's weird. It's hard looking at, you know, all these pieces of like, oh, I got this from there and I got that from there. And you never fully know.
No, you don't. You don't. I mean, I just followed my mom, what she did to this
Yeah.
day. I mean, where I'm working, what I'm doing, how I'm living my life, like it's basically a blueprint of her. So I get it. Like I had that solid, in a lot of ways, I have the blueprint of both her and my dad in a different way. Because although we didn't see eye to eye in life a lot, he was a really good role model to show me how to do stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't need no man. No, that's not true, but I don't have one in the house. You know, I mean, we're a 2-woman household. Like
Fucking hell.
sometimes things get fucked up around here and you need to fix it. But my dad taught me some useful stuff, and how to how to do some shit around the house, you know.
You
Um,
know, that level is so funny and so weird because being ADHD as fuck, I teach myself absolutely everything. I have to teach myself everything or I get fucking lost. Bree the other day, she looks at me, she's like, babe, you really frustrate me. I said, why? Why? Why do I really frustrate you? She said, absolutely everything I've ever asked you, you have an answer for. Absolutely everything that I've ever asked you to do, you know exactly how to do almost perfectly. And you achieve at a level that I don't think most people that I've ever talked to can achieve at half your fucking level.
because I don't care, Zach. You know, a lot of people just don't care about the quality of things. They just want to get through something.
And it's just so weird. That whole, oh, I have a man in the house. It's weird. And it's weird because I used to think of that being a negative thing. Now it's like if Maddie needs something done, Nick needs something done, Bree needs something, and they all run to dad. Every single one of them, if they need their tire changed, their oil changed, to go get something from the store to make sure a bill is paid, every single thing goes through dad. Did either of the households before me show that? No, not at all.
No. Well, I mean, I didn't I didn't have, I mean, I had, my dad was there. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
don't mistake that at all. My dad was always there. I didn't always live in the same household with him. My parents divorced when I was young, about 4. But I always had the influence there. And then he remarried, so I had the married couple family type
Experience.
situation over here, and my mom, me, and my brother over here. So I got to see 2 different ways to life, if you will,
Yeah.
you know. And I picked up something from everybody. You're right. You know, when you think about it, you know, I picked up a lot of things from my stepmother, as far as household is concerned. It's amazing to me how much. Um, I picked up a lot of attitudes and platitudes and demeanor of my mom. And my dad, um, he wasn't always the lead, he always wanted to be the lead. But he wasn't always the lead. I was surrounded by really strong women, but nobody, um, that put his manhood down. But being um, being rooted in the LGBT community when I was younger, it was very much a "I don't need no man" type
Yeah.
of environment, and I this point in life I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all, and it's amazing how much my mindset has changed where all that's concerned.
And I don't know, maybe you can give me a little insight on this. You might know a little bit more than I do. And you look at my childhood, and I forced myself to be quiet all the time. I tried to resort back to the same exact kind of standard settings that my mom and my dad had. Quiet, 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 shut up, Zach, shit. But my grandparents always said that I would be the person that ties everybody together. I'm the person that will bring everybody back to the table. I'm the person that will fix it. My grandma said that when I was 2 years old, right? And I was the one that brought everybody back, and I'm the great uniter. It's weird. I didn't this personality, this whole I walk into the room and everybody has fun and greets me was not Zach's personality at fucking 13 years old. Once I sat down and everybody was in a circle, yeah, I might light up the fucking room because I'm fucking funny. But I wasn't I'm going to command a room and make people stare down at their dick because they're questioning their size. That was never Zach.
Metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't land well, but
Oh no, I'll explain it later. It's okay. I'm gonna leave the awkwardness in too, so that way everybody's confused. But it's weird because the alpha version wasn't something I ever chose. That wasn't me.
it wasn't. It wasn't. I think it had a lot to do with your upbringing and the type of man that your mother chose, as well as the type of woman that you chose.
And it's weird looking at it now. The person that I've become, like, we walk into the pizza place. Every single person waited for Zach to get there because I was the one who started it. But still, like, everybody, this is when we're here. This is what we're doing. Like, think, was there ever a family group chat before I started one? Either of them? No, nobody had back channels. Nobody had conversations. Everybody was quiet. It's weird. It's weird, KJ. It's fucking weird that this was set forward at fucking 1 and 2 years old. And now for some reason I'm fulfilling prophecies that I didn't know were a thing.
Fulfilling prophecies. Oh man. you know, since this is all over the place anyway, I'm going to circle back to Fa for a second.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm going to circle back to Fa for a second is because the trait that you got from him was you're going to do. You're just going to do it. You're just going to get things done. You're going to power through. There's a task list and you got to get through it, right? When my mom passed, that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
But when my mom passed, my world fell out from underneath me. I couldn't even walk back in her house. For weeks. But the one thing that did happen is I ended up having to move and clean that place out. Your mother was moving in.
Yeah.
And not only could I not look at me right now. Not only could I not 13 years ago, you'd think this was like last month. Not only could I not live in the house that my mother left me Talk about missed opportunities.
Yeah.
I couldn't clean her things out of the house.
Yeah.
It was horrible. So what did Fa do? That motherfucker.
Made sure everything was taken care of.
Everything was put in a storage unit.
Yep.
Or my apartment. Everything. I'll never be able to thank that man enough. We have our tussles, me and Fa, but I'll never be able to thank that man enough.
Now, when we moved to the bottom of the mountain, you know, he was the only one that stepped up to help. He sat there and made sure that the U-Haul was filled, and we were able to move the shit into the apartment. And guess what? He took my autistic ass and sat there and accepted putting all the shit together. And he's like, I want to do this. Fucking horrible at it, but he fucking loves doing it because he just wants to be told what to do. That I've
Just wants
never
to be a
met
part of,
anybody.
yeah, just wants to be a
Yeah,
part of something. Yep.
just wants to be part of something, wants to listen to some 50 Cent and jam many men and be told exactly what to do and achieve it at like 85% of what you want. And then you finish off the last 15% and you're good.
Yep. So I just feel like those are the flowers that I need to give next. Now I'm going to do that.
He's honestly, and I'll give them right here because you know what? He deserves the public flowers. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fa, you are one of the greatest men that I've been around. Are you a normal dude? Absolutely the fuck not.
That's why we like you.
But you bring so much more to this world than you realize, bud.
Thank you from the
You
bottom of my
made
heart.
sure a lot of those days that I had to go to school, that baby was taken care of.
Yeah. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done for me. Specifically, the mom's house thing.
Yeah.
Because you knew I couldn't. And you did. So thank you. I love you, man.
Well, even the dishes, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
it gets heavy. You know what I'm saying?
He
He's
drives me
like, I'm not
crazy with
dealing with
dishes.
Zach's tears. Zach's a smart ass. He's either gonna make a joke and make me laugh when I'm not supposed to, or he's gonna start bawling his eyes out and I'm gonna feel like I have to.
Yeah, emotions aren't his thing, so he does what needs to be done that he knows he can
Yeah.
help with. Yeah. Yep.
You'll never catch a tear on his face unless I cry. And you'll never catch any fruit or vegetable on his plate ever. Those are the only two things about. We'll see you next time, guys. Use code RMTS at checkout.